Come on in, good people. Come on in. Yeah, I'm thinking about playing this song I was working on earlier. I think I'm gonna play it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Tyheim in the building. You ready, man? I'm gonna add you on if you ready. Hold on. I'm gonna see. Let me see.
Turn my AC off too. I'll make
Oh
sure.
yeah, I hear you, dog.
Good man. How you doing?
I'm good. How you?
Doing good, man. Just got off work. Just got
Oh
home.
yeah. Come on the grind.
Yes, sir,
Hey,
man.
I'm gonna make sure y'all let me know if y'all can hear us before we continue, cause this is a conversation we really need to have.
Okay. Can I see the conversations in here, chats or no?
Yeah, you. I got the comments where you should be able to see them, and then I'm gonna also put them on the screen so you can see them even better.
Okay.
So as they come in, so while people coming in, man, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man. Where you from, what you do, all that.
Yeah, man. So my name is Tyheim Smith. I'm from Chicago. Born and raised 290 West Side. Um, Musician, producer, songwriter. Um, Work. I do IT, so I'm kind of all over the place. Play in my church. I'm a deacon. There's a lot of a
Let's go,
lot of stuff
Deacon.
I
Though
do. So
that's fire,
yeah,
bro.
man. Born and raised in the church. 27, and yeah, man. Love music. Been around music all my life. My family plays. My uncle played. My uncle taught me. My uncles used to sing in the gospel group back in the day. They did gospel and R&B, and so I just grew up playing music all of my life in church. And yeah, so that's what I do. So I'm in the quartet family. I love quartet. Been raised with it all my life. Family sing quartet. Played in a lot of quartet groups. Um, Wrote and produced and played on a lot of recordings, and just love what I do. Love the
Yeah,
gift that
man.
God has given me. So yeah.
Absolutely. And how did you get into production?
Oh wow. Production. So my pastor at the time. Um, I've always loved music, so old school music, R&B, jazz. I'm very versatile with. I love all types of music. So I've always loved the process of making records. So I love reading credits. I love seeing who was involved from the top to the bottom. Who wrote, who produced, who was the publisher, who was the engineer, who was the mixer, all of these roles and all of these things that I'm like, okay, what is this? What is that? So, like for example, like I love quartet, so I know this. It's like the Williams brothers. Grew up, um, didn't know that. Hey, these guys not only are they're artists, they're
They have
singing,
their label.
they're their label. You know, not only their label, they're writing, they're producing, they're mixing. Every asset of the record, executive producer, and all this stuff, there are top to bottom. Them and Stan Jones, I grew up as a child, as a baby, watching Stan Jones, starting off as a drummer for them, watching him play drums with the Bowman Brothers, and just seeing how he just rose to, he started writing and he started producing, and then he just, so seeing that as a child, seeing credits and getting more understanding on production, and that's how I got started. And my pastor's son, who's a producer, well, my former pastor's son was a producer. So I was like 11 years old, and he gave me my first advice on how to start production. I think my first software was Cubase, and I had a Cubase, and I had a Tascam, uh, like audio interface. And when I tell you I was wrong, I was like, I didn't know MIDI. I didn't know nothing about VSTs. So I used to plug up the keyboard like USB to the computer and nothing would work. So I'm like, okay, so how you supposed to do this? So I used to take a mic. It's crazy. I had a Casio keyboard. I used to take a mic and put it on a speaker and record my keyboard. It's crazy. It's I used to do that, and I used to record all of my stuff, and then I got into Pro Tools and Logic, and upgrading and stuff like that, and just being around great people, great musicians who are older than me and who are seasoned, that I could be a student of. And I'm still a student. You never learn everything, but being a student and watching and being on the sideline and not being in the seat has been the best teacher for me, because when you're not in the seat, when it's not your responsibility, and you get to see it and sit down and learn and understand every aspect, not just the creative, not just the playing, but the business side as well. I take the business side so serious that even when we were talking yesterday, I think yesterday we was in the live, we were talking about, as far as, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I will put it on him, but not all, but a good majority of our Quartet community don't understand the business side of it. So I love it, every aspect of it, the business side and the production side. So it just grew. So I started,
Yeah.
working in quartet in Chicago, and so I started playing with God's Posse, Victory Travelers, people from Chicago and around the country. They know who they are, playing with them, and then got working with Tim White and Refocus. Um, 2020, got a chance to write a couple of songs on that album, on those two albums as well. So, just learning. I'm still learning, still growing. I don't know everything, but I take it seriously. And so guys like, Wilbur Crosby, who's was my music teacher in Chicago, he played with Aretha Franklin and Mavis Staples. And so just all of these gems that I get from them. And a lot of my gems came from not being in gospel. It was R&B and old school music and jazz and stuff like that. And so my discipline and my musicianship comes from quartet, the foundation of it, but it grew and matured when I started to learn other genres outside of gospel. So
That's a
yeah, man.
great point.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what you said is good.
Hmm.
I do agree that it's a taboo situation with the business. People
Yeah.
don't like to hear it, but I've lived it enough to know that it's very rare that us in the quartet community go outside of just making the music and doing the gig.
Absolutely.
Making the music, doing the gig. It's like getting paid is kind of like, it's cool if we do,
Hmm.
but we still going if we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been times where I done did a lot of stuff where it was like I knew I wasn't getting paid, but it was for the learning and understanding, like the business and stuff like that. There was times where I did sessions and played places, and my mom's like, "Why are you going there? Why are you going?" I said, "There's a reason for all things, and it pays off." So then when your time comes and when you're ready, you don't have to prepare.
That's
You're
right.
ready. You're
That's
ready.
right.
So I've been afforded a lot of opportunities um, to do sessions and for people and learn and sit down and literally watch them do it, to the point where it's like, okay, I got it. So I take, you know, the genres outside of gospel, because sometimes it's true, not all the time, but a good chunk of the time, the people outside of the genre of gospel treat you better than gospel does. They're more open to showing you things, business wise and music wise, as far as a musician and growing. And even the ones that's probably not saved or whatever, they're the most coolest one, the ones that's more open and will do stuff for you. And so those were where I got the most experience in learning my craft and learning how to be a musician, discipline, approach to music, how to listen to everybody, dynamics. A lot of these terms, a lot of these things, that in gospel music, in quartet and gospel period, not all, but majority of us growing up, we didn't have, because we just had the freedom to do whatever we wanted We learned the song. We didn't necessarily have to learn the intro. We just came up with whatever we wanted to come up with. And then you could just do whatever you want. So then when you get into those other arenas, when you start to do R&B and when you start to do, it's different. Those same rules don't apply. You can't do whatever you want to do. You know, it's discipline, it's pattern, it's pocket, it's play the song. I don't need you to do whatever you want to do. I need you to do this. So when we're not used to it, and we've been in an arena so long, but it's okay though. And that's the crazy part is that it's a good thing, but it can be a hindrance if you don't control it, because that's what the other side lacks, because that freedom gave us the ability to be able to adapt to anything. So with people in classical and other genres who read music and sheet music, when it come down to them outside of the sheet music, when it come down to you vibing, they can't do it. They don't know how to adapt. They don't know how to flow and just go whatever. But at the same time, if you take that away and we get into reading music and arrangements and all, we can't do it. So it got to be a balance to where you got to be able to do both, and you got to be able to
Yeah.
step out and understand,
Dang.
you know, um, what what music is. So I think that's another thing gospel musicians got to learn more. Um, it's discipline and really respecting music. And it's not about just doing whatever you want to do. It is, but it's creativity. But you got to learn the rules first. Then you could be able to manipulate or break them. Or I don't have to use break, but just try different things. But I would never. I always was taught when I was doing music in music school. When we were, I think we did like Motown, or we was doing the Sound of Philadelphia with Leon Huff or something like that
Yeah.
or whatever. And we were doing, I'm in high school, like doing this stuff, and we're just reading the music and we're learning the music and learning arrangements. And one of my teachers say, when you play the song, people want to know what it is. So always establish it first. Never come in doing whatever, because people ain't gonna know what the song is or whatever. And we getting off to a whole nother thing about me. I know this is not the topic we're supposed to
This
be
is
talking
good though.
about,
It's still good.
but
It's still good, bro.
to establish it first, establish the melody, establish the song. And then second time around, if you want to embellish or do little things, place it, but you gotta place it well.
Yeah.
Leave meat on the bone for everybody else. You're not the only one. And that's one of my pet peeves when it comes down to playing music, where it's like driving without being aware. Like you have to check your left mirror, your right mirror, your rear. You just can't just be driving to yourself and whatever. You got to look around.
Hey,
And so I always,
that's a good analogy
I,
for
I
it.
I tell musicians all the time, and I'm 27, but I know I have an old soul, but I don't know everything. But as far as just my coming up, I tell musicians my age or younger, you got to look around, vibe, and pay attention to what's going on. If you realize that you're not loud, like you're too loud, or you can't hear the vocals, you need to come down. Anytime when you're playing a song live and the verse is ready to come up, automatically the band needs to come down. Like these things that I've been taught that has kept me in business. And I'm not the type of flashy, extravagant, blah, blah, blah. But pocket, drive, listening, and feel has kept me doing stuff forever.
Yeah, man.
It is what matters, man. It's what
Yeah,
matters.
it's and that's a good place to have a conversation because you know how it is. We desire to do things on a grand scale.
Hmm.
And when you're not taught, it's easy to assume that the flashy is how you get to the grand scale, but it's actually the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah. It's the opposite. I'm telling you. Um, it's the truth. I'm telling y'all, it is not. Flashy is not the way, man. I'm telling you. And what I love this conversation because it's like it's so much proof, it's so much evidence that we can bring to back this up. And I use even now and even then, some of the best records of all time, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, track record of records that have Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning records, multi platinum records, man. And the production and arrangement and the musicianship is to the point. And it's like it blows my mind because I'm like, I get with arrangements and stuff like that. You want to be different, and there's a time and place for all things. And sometimes you might need that, depending on the arena. But you got to know what arena you in and what is appropriate and what's needed. And everybody takes the same approach. Of, it got to be crazy arrangements. It got to be this. It got to be that. And sometimes y'all go above and beyond, and you do it for free, and it's like, and dudes be at the BET Awards and the Grammys and the Oscars and will play the record and will get paid way more money. And you sat there and arranged that whole thing for nothing.
That's a
To
fact.
me, that's just me. As no offense, like I love it, but like I just played the record. My uncle, I call him my uncle, like Aretha, Mavis, like did it all, and will literally they would just play the record and get a check, a nice check. And all he did was just play the song. I don't get it. But I mean, I
Bro, and
guess.
I posted a status it might have been some days or weeks ago. But I was explaining in the status that a lot of quartet records that I hear
Hmm.
that are studio records,
Yeah.
they actually don't leave room for live embellishment because they done strange arranged in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it's like, but like you said, when you study outside of like quartet and gospel, you'll know like, okay, you may have, like, say for instance, you may have Jermaine Dupri
Hmm.
produce Confessions, and it's super simple.
Yeah.
And then you take whoever the MD and arranger is for the Vegas show, and it's insane.
I,
But there was somewhere to go.
and bro, you hit it on the head, man. And the thing is, first of all, it starts with the song, and right, I learned this from, to me, in my eyes. This is just me. The greatest producer of all time is Quincy Jones to me. And one thing I learned from him, man, is it starts with the song. If you have a great song, he says the best song in the world can save the worst singer, but the best singer can't.
Save the
If the
worst
best
song.
singer is
Woo.
on, can't save the worst song. So it's like if you got the song, even at its most
Yes. Yes, Tyheim.
demo,
Yes.
you know what I'm
If you
saying?
yes, if the
Demo
song
verses, man, it's
yes,
just to be evoking it and just the
if the
melody
song
and it's
yes.
it. If it's the song, it's it. And so that's that's why it's my approach. Even when I do live shows as a musical director, um, and I just did it. It'll be out. I'm gonna share it with you when we get off
Okay,
here.
perfect,
It'll be
perfect.
coming out soon. But
Okay.
working with this artist from Chicago, his name Deontay Baker, and he was celebrating his 1 year anniversary on his album. Great album,
Okay.
great songs. And he wanted me to, work and do a live, kind of like a tiny desk vibe or whatever. And my job is to me, in my eyes, this is my eyes as an MD and as an arranger, is to embellish on what's already there.
Already there.
I shouldn't have to do a lot of work. The song is great. It's the foundation is there. It was written for a reason. Those chords are there for a reason. Those changes are there for a reason. And if it's a hit, it needs to be there. So why am I arranging something and I can't even recognize it or it's too much? The song is the song. It's going to do what it's going to do. All I got to do is just do little certain things, transitions or whatever, or what need be. Just me. This is I'm speaking for me as an arranger and as an MD. Like I don't like to overdo it. I know how to and I know when it's time to do certain things, but the song is the song. Let it shine. It's there for a reason. And when you get to doing too much and it gets in the way, drums is everywhere. Everybody want to take their spots, and it's just like the song is not being respected. The music that was written is not being respected because its ego and pride is in the way, and you can't for for 15 to 30 minutes, sit down and discipline yourself and just play the song. I have a problem with that.
I hear your heart too. You sick of it.
I'm so listen, if y'all get listen, yeah. People who know me, that's it. People who know me that's gonna be in this I have a huge problem with it because it's like I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't
but
get it.
to your point though, first of all, while you were talking, it made me think of something that I've never thought about.
Hmm.
The the main point of a live arrangement should be to elevate the
So,
listening experience for the
yes.
audience,
Yes.
not to showcase your
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah. Because these people and it's not dumbing down the audience. The audience don't care. I'm gonna use another Quincy quote because I love the man. He's the greatest of all time. He was talking to a drummer, right? John Robinson was one of his drummers that he used a lot on his records, and he was doing a live show, and it was John was saying it was playing a song or whatever, and they were just doing whatever, doing the thing, and then he said Quincy just stopped and told him he was like, I'm not gonna say what he said verbatim, but you get the point. He said nobody in the back gives a DAMEN or whatever about what you're doing with your hi hat, and then just walked off. And so nobody cares. Nobody wants to know that it was a minor third, or you went down up a minor third, or you did that and that. Nobody cares. It's about how you make them feel. Like perfect example. Like I've been loving it. Chris Brown had did a lot. He's been killing it, man. But it's been going viral where he did the With You song and just how the band just played it. I don't know if you heard. I'm gonna send it to you, but
Yeah, send it to me.
I'm gonna say, and they just played the record and they just did little transitions, whatever, and then at the end went to the four. So people who know the song, it's kind of a worship vibe anyway with those type of chords. But they went to the four. Everybody church musicians know it's church for, but just how they just play, they could have did anything. These are top 10 musicians playing for Chris Brown. They could have did whatever they wanted to do, but they decided to play the song and end it on the four.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's. But again, like we said before yesterday, or the times we've been talking, that it goes about again being taught, understanding the musicianship, etiquette, musician etiquette, definitely on the stage and off the stage as well, on how to respect, listen, and approach to playing music. Because again, as much of a gain that it has been in church and having that freedom, when you start to go out, you think that that approach is right, and it's not. And when it comes down to the R&B and that side, them people don't play. Like you're done and gone. Like it's I don't seen, not me personally, but experiences with people that I look up to that has been on those stages, that it's like you, to where you are, they have this set list and they got this stuff written out, and like maybe 10, 15 minutes the whole set is changed, and you have to go with those changes. um One particular time, he probably won't be mad if I tell the story, but I'm not gonna say who it was. But my uncle was telling me he was on the road with Aretha, and Aretha wasn't liking something with the bass or whatever, or something was going on. And in that sense, it doesn't matter if she's right or wrong. She's Aretha, she's the artist. So just do what she's asking, even if it doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter. And we can get too much in ourselves and say, nah, I know I arrange I this and I that. It doesn't matter. So she kept saying, man, something ain't right, or whatever, whatever, and he just didn't do it. And then within that day, they bought him his plane ticket and sent him home because he didn't do what he was told to do. Because you're in yourself, like just you know, and that goes again. It goes right into production when you have to humble yourself and sit back and not everything you do is a good idea. From musicianship, songwriters, or producers, whatever your role is, not everything you do is going to work. So when somebody says something like, I don't, whatever, hear it out. And you'll be surprised that if it don't work or whatever, but just don't just get into yourself and arrogant and just say, oh, well, I'm the producer, or you don't know what you're talking about. I don't like when musicians do that, when they think that the knowledge and the studying that they have gained, that just warrants them to just micromanage the session to the point where there's no creativity, there's no collaboration at that point. And that goes into what we said yesterday about collaboration. I think that's what we're missing in production. Those great records of old, Earth and the Fire and Michael Jackson, you had a lot of people involved in the record making process. And you had the producer as the vision to say, hey, this is the what I'm casting as far as this is where I want the album to go, working with the artist. There is a partnership. The producer and artist partnership is very, very important and is very key to a successful album. And it gotta be here. Because if they're not, if there's no love and no professional vibe with each other, it's then I'm here and you going there. You gotta be able to work. And that goes, in my opinion, that goes with producing. And as a producer, which we might as well just go into it, since that's what we're supposed to be talking about. I get started, my mind gets to going, brother. I'm sorry, but it all ties in together. But yeah. So you go ahead. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah.
So should I read my status or should we just talk about it?
Um, you can read it so we can have the context. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Hold on. Let me go to it. Let me go to it.
You got me started, man.
All right. Hold on. Let me go to it. Hey. All right. Hold on. Dang. I'm going far. All right. Here. All right. Here you go. So here's it. I said, music producers. There is a lot of records out here that the musicians deserve some type of production credit for. I know that's
Mhm.
taboo, but it's true. There are times when musicians are just musicians. There are other times when the musician's contributions made the record. I watched a documentary about the studio band at Motown, and it became
Mhm.
very clear to me that I'm not the only person who's ever thought this. Have you seen that documentary, Tyheim?
Yes, the Shadows of Motown. Yeah, yeah. One of my favorite documentaries. Yeah,
All right,
man.
and then I said, I've also seen clips of Greg Fillinganes, Steve Lukather, who are amazing people. If y'all don't know them,
Yes, yes, they
please
are.
look them up,
Yes, they are.
and others who spoke of this concerning some of Michael Jackson's records.
Yeah,
There's a difference between musicianship and musicians making a record.
absolutely.
Some musical contributions are just musicians playing the song, and other musical contributions are the song. Those
Hmm.
contributions deserve production credit. I know many will disagree, but if you talk to musicians that really change the trajectory of a song with their sound, vibe, and ideas, you will know how they really feel. We're going to stop right there and unpack that.
All right.
Because when I watch that Motown thing, it's like, to your point in the comments, when you got producers in the room that are hired to be the producers, they are the producers no matter how the record is made.
Right. If it fails or if it's a success, they're the producer.
Right.
Whoever is hired and contracted and paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess I guess the question I want to ask you that I think will
Hmm.
help people a lot is, what is the role of a music producer?
And man, and this is what we talked about the other day. And that this work, and again, and you did a great point, bro, that over time, of course, between the 80s and now, that these roles have changed. We've gone from, the roles of like the Maurice White, where you have the producer and the engineer. Now a lot of those things are together. The producer and engineer are together. They kind of share the same role, and now we have producers writing, engineering, mixing, mastering, editing, doing all of that at the same time, which is great. But in my opinion, for me, seeing, watching the goats of before and what worked before, because if it worked then, especially at that time, it could work now, in my opinion, that collaboration is best. And getting a lot of people involved. But a producer that role needs to be understood because it could be misunderstood. People don't understand the true role of it. And um, it is project manager. It is creative vision, technical vision, um, the overseer of the recording project, seeing the song through from the start of the song through the recording process, through picking out singers, arrangers, musicians, whatever, whatnot, seeing that whole process through from the recording, through the mixing process, through the mastering process, not just music, but business. And people forget that part. People just think that as producers just creative, like you no, this take. That's true. But there's a business side to it. You're project managing, you're budgeting, you're paying people. You are a project manager, basically. I'm saying the same thing. You are the overseer of the recording. You gather everybody. You are the decision maker. That's what a producer is, to realize the goal of the artist, to get the best recording possible for the artist or for the label or whoever it is, and you present it to the public.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, that's good. That's exactly what it is. My wife said leadership. I think,
Leadership, yes.
and I think,
Thank you. You took the word out of my mouth. Thank you, because I was like, keep saying project manager. Thank you.
yes, it's
Leadership,
yes,
leadership.
and it's that's the thing. I think the heart behind my status had a
Hmm.
lot to do with, and I'm gonna just say it.
You're right. It happened to me, so don't worry about it.
All of I have been in situations where the producer didn't do none of what you just described
Hmm.
and went down as the
Yeah,
producer.
and still go down. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yo, I'm like,
Yes. Oh,
wait.
yes. It's definitely wrong. But that's why I said in the post, I'm like, you were right, but you were absolutely right. But I'm like, somebody gonna take this and just run with it. I'm like, hold on, wait, we gotta make sure we understand what this is. But no, you didn't do no, you did whatever, whatever, whatever. And so it's just like people gotta understand that we get into. I hate to get into this where you gotta do everything in order to get the producer title, and that is not
Oh,
the
that's not true.
case.
That's not
It's
true.
not true at all.
Which is what you were saying in the
Hmm.
comments. Which is true. It's like when Quincy. Let's just use Quincy.
I have no problem with that.
Hey, it's like when you like Quincy's smart enough. First of all, he's different than a lot of people that this status was about because
Yeah.
he has the ability to say what's missing.
Yes.
Okay, we need this type of song, and
Yes.
this type of song needs this
This
type of musician.
or this type of arranger.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like the
But see,
ability.
it's the vision though. It's the hearing. It's hearing the song and knowing it's a good song and knowing what's needed. And you know how to get the best performance out of your artists, get the best performance out of your musicians. But what people don't understand is that leadership role, even what your wife was talking about, is so important because, again, at the end of the day, you are the decision maker. So, which means if it's successful and or if it fails, it falls on you. Which means, so if the success of this record falls on me as a producer, because the first thing people will say when they hear a record or
Who
how the
produced it?
sound of production, who's the producer? That's the first thing people will say. Produce this. So
Yep.
if that's the case, then people who really do the role of it should get the credit. If it fails, and then if it's successful, should equally get the credit with the artist as well. But knowing that you are the decision maker and know what the outcome can be of it being successful or not, that means that the decision making on what you do and who you have involved is just as important. What you
Yeah.
choose, what to do, and what not to do matters. And in quartet and gospel, not all, but a good of them don't understand that. Picking musicians to play on the record, that is a hard thing to do. And they downplay the role of the producer really because like, oh, all he did was just pick musicians. That's not
No,
easy.
yeah, that's not easy. That's not easy. That's not easy.
It's not
Because
easy.
the picking can make or break the record.
Back, bro,
It's like
telling you,
I have been in situations where I was like, boy, this guitar player, boy, that was a bad call.
I'm telling you, it
It's
could
like,
make and break the
woo.
yes. It's hard. Like I don't know how Quincy. Like I just don't know how he just knew how to just not just Quincy, but Maurice White and David Foster, Stevie Wonder, like all of these great producers that I look up to. It's just I don't know how they just. I'm still just I'm studying that alone. Like even now, like that's kind of my producing study is like to get how to get the right people knowing for certain things and knowing the right writer, the right arranger. That's why I was saying even with arranging and vocal producing and all of that. Even though, like you said, not all producers know how to produce vocals. That doesn't limit you or make you less of a producer because you still, guess what? You still chose the right
The
vocal
vocal.
producer.
Yep. Yep.
So you already knew, again, taking self out the way, getting your ego out the way, and say, you know what? I'm not really that
Yeah.
spot on. Like I'm good with musicians. Like I can pick out, I can get the best from musicians, but with vocals, like it's just like I know a good take when I hear it, but I can't be in the weeds and getting you there. But I know what's a good take, or I know what's good because I can, as a producer's ear, vision wise, yeah, that's it. But I just can't. Some people just can't just be in the weeds.
Yeah.
But as a producer, you knowing that, say, hey, you know what? I want this vocal producer for this person, and it does not limit you or take down your role as a producer because you didn't go through the weeds of going through the takes of that person.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
because you do that, you don't downplay that person, have them vocal produce, and then don't give them the credit. Now that's bogus.
And I've seen it done, bro. But you
Yeah.
said something that I want to touch on because it's like when a producer chooses musicians, you know, a lot of people like, I know you heard this before, like how musicians be frustrated because
hmm
the producer always use the same people.
You, I'm gonna tell you something. That used to be me when I was younger, right? And I used to be like, man, why you don't go out and call people? Why I'm not called? La, 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 la. When I got older, and and even with people in Chicago, producers that I looked up to and saw, even though we always didn't see eye to eye, I understood. And then me growing and studying, being a student again, watching Quincy, watching Maurice White, watching David Foster, watching Motown, Michael, all of these great artists, and just seeing like, okay, I'm watching Quincy. Majority of these albums, it's the same people. It's always Greg Filling Games. It's always Louis Johnson. It's gonna be Steve Lukather on there at some point in time. It's gonna be David Williams, Louis Johnson on the bass. It's the same people. And the only time that I seen him do something different was when he went to another genre. Now, when he was in jazz, he had his jazz side. He knew George Benson. He knew certain he had his jazz people. He had his people for that. Greg went on a lot of them jazz records, but that's not a shot to Greg. And I wish people was just musicians are learning more to get out of their feelings when it comes to when you don't get called. It's not an attack. And just because we bros don't mean I gotta call you for everything.
That's another one. That's another one. It's like
If it's my
that.
decision, if I do it, it's been times where it's like I didn't get called to do if I'm playing live or records. A lot of stuff I didn't get called for.
Yeah,
But I'm learning more and more now. I used to feel a little way about it, but now me growing as a musician, me growing as a producer, I get it. So I'm like, when I make my decision on why I do things, the genre, I see where the music is going, and I look at who fits. Because I know, okay, he gonna have this approach. I want this type of approach. There's certain things that I want, and I will call who I go by the spirit. Like I act like, okay, God, kind of like, okay, this is where I need to go, or who I need to call, and it will work. But people sometimes get in their feelings, which I can understand, but you can't. You got to get out your feelings.
that's the thing. I understand. I understand the feelings of it,
I
but
do, yeah.
like you said, as I begin to grow, like because
Hmm.
even myself, I've had that feeling before, and now that I'm older and doing more, I'm like, I felt entitled to that opportunity because of our relationship. But when
Yes.
you really, if I were to examine my skill level and my ability and how
Hmm.
I thought then, he did right to not call me.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it's for the betterment of the record. Self out the way.
Yeah,
It's for the betterment of the record. And that as a producer, you have to get self out the way, cut all of the crap out, and get to the realness of it. And
yeah,
so that's what a producer does. Stuff like that. And the man ain't got to write nothing, ain't got, but just the vision and the guidance with the artist, like you need to do that. Will do so much that you think it
yeah,
wouldn't, because in your mind you think, because of how the term and how the making of music is being done now, that a person has to mix, has to master, has to write everything, has to track everything out. You have to be a prince in order to be a producer, and that is not
that's not
true.
true. That's
It's
that's
not
hey
true.
that's you giving game because the truth of the matter is, Taheem,
It's
this is
yeah.
I've seen this before.
Hmm.
I've seen I've been in rooms with people who were better producers with without the ability to do all those things
Yeah.
than producers who can who are mediocre at all of those things.
And micro, yes, yes. And I'm learning it now myself. Even like in my production, like again, learning collaboration. Cause I look up to those guys so much that I try to like, okay, I have the blueprint. Unless I don't have to do, I'm never, we're never gonna be exactly like them, but take what they have. They gave you a blueprint of it. And customize it to you and what works for you and what makes it you, and you put you in it, right? So one thing that I do is like, I'm an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
So when my mind goes, my mind goes. So I'm learning, I've been learning now, and it has been working for me as a producer, that when I engineer as well. So when I'm engineering for somebody and I'm not producing or I'm not whatever, I'm great. But when I'm producing and now, can I produce an engineer? Yeah. But when I'm in the weeds, it is a problem for me. My creative, I can't, it's too much going on. Collaboration. Like this last one I did producing. Um, uh, the artist was like, okay, well, can we come to your studio? I said, that's fine. You gonna engineer? I said, no, I'm not engineer. I'm gonna hire somebody else to do that. Cause I wanna be less focused on the technical. But see, but that doesn't mean I'm not technical. I'm overseeing the technical, but I'm not in the weeds, because I want to stay more of the creative side, and I want to see everything else vision wise, because I don't want to be in the weeds trying to cut, splice, fade in and out and all that. I don't want to worry about all of that. That's why I hire an engineer, a vocal engineer, to worry about that, so I could just sit down and
Yeah.
listen. and be able to know that's a good take. And me being an engineer makes it better for me as a producer because I know what needs to be done, but I'm not going to do it. So again, I did it for the vocal engineer, right? So I was like, okay, drum editing. I do a little bit of drum editing, but I don't have the patience for it. So what did I do? Hire somebody to edit the engineer. Collaboration. It was a lot of engineers on these records back in the day. It was a lot of assistant engineers. A lot of people would just go in there and just make the clean versions or cut or whatever. And you had the main engineer, and the main engineers had assistant engineers and gave them to do the grunt work. Man, I wouldn't even want to be an engineer back in those days. Them the multi tracks, the tape splice, you got to cut and make sure them words you got to to get to the word. And, man, please, I wouldn't survive. I don't know how I wouldn't survive. I would have not survived. So I had my friend
Yo.
come. I said, bro, you really good at drum editing, man. I said, I wanna be able, I wanna sit down. Again, here's another thing that I miss with collaboration. This as a producer, this is my opinion as far as getting in a room with editors, mixing engineers. I miss it because me sending it to you and mix is cool, but I'm like, I feel like we're not getting the vibe as a producer together. We're sitting in the room together as you doing this, and I'm giving like the vision on what I need. So when I sat there with the engineer and I told him like, okay, these is how I want these drums edited. I want this, take a bar of this, and I want to reuse this, put this here, and whatever we're going through. But what I loved about that session was it was an editing session. He's a musician, he's a producer, but he's an artist. He's creating, even though you might not think it is because it's technical and it's drum editing. But he came up with an idea to make, and it made it, and it took it to another level. He took a drum edit. It was kind of weird, and like I don't know how he was gonna work it out. And he took another like feel that the drummer did and took it and put it in there and made it work.
Yeah.
But that's him. But that's creative. And so, but again, that's me getting the right people involved, so I don't have to worry about all of the. I know what I want from a higher level, and I'm gonna sit with you, and we're gonna get with it. But I also want to know what you think. It's not just me just giving barking orders at you. I want to know what you think. And that goes not just with engineers, go with musicians as well. I do not like to micromanage as a producer. I don't. I called you for a reason for what you do, and I trust for what you do. Now, if you go on ship, I guide the ship and steer it. But I'm not going to be here. I know I want this. I want this. I want this. I'm micromanager and tell you what you could. I want you to play that. I want to hear what you got. And then once I get it back, then I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna say, okay, I like that, but I don't need that part there because that's contradicting or it's clashing with what's else going on. Then that's what my job is to kind of like take what you did and make sure that it's a cohesive
Yeah, man.
piece from start to finish. And guess what? I can do all of that and I ain't got to do nothing. I ain't got to write. I ain't got to engineer. I might not even have to play, but it's just my experience and the vision and my ear to know what needs to be done and understanding dynamics, sonics, all of
Yeah.
that stuff. That experience goes into what a producer is. And a lot of people downplay the role of it. And it really irritates me because when you really have a really good producer and he doesn't do that, people will downplay like he didn't produce. I just when got rid of somebody with that experience like that, is you can't go wrong.
Yeah, man. And I also want to point out something that's very important too. With everything you just explained and described, I think it's, and I'm gonna make sure my wife like chops it up and stuff because I
Hmm.
think it's important for artists to understand this process so they won't side eye us when we tell them the price.
My lord, that's a whole man. It's man, it's a lot, and you hit it. I think you said it on a live yesterday. And you say, I said, man, that's good. I didn't think about it like that. You said, man, if you can't afford a 5 minute song, then you need to be doing a 2 or 3 minute. I said, man, that's good. That is good. I be watching you, bro. I'm like, that is good. If you
Right.
can't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't take advantage of. My heart is different for me. When I'm working with people, I like to see it through because my not only is your name on it, my name is on it. So some things that I know I got to work on as far as business wise and being better, but it's because I like to help people and see it through. I might front post production myself sometimes just because I want to see it through. I'm not gonna go through all of this and it's gonna be bad. And I'm gonna put my name on it. So to help me, help you, help me. I'm sometimes knowing, and also it depends on the relationship I have with the artist I'm working with or whatever. But sometimes I will help fund post. It's been times where I done did that, didn't get nothing, but it's fine. The Lord sees it, and it's it was a success. But doesn't mean I'm gonna keep doing it.
And
I will
look,
be able to
and
keep
look,
doing it, but it's just got. That's why I gotta learn how to be better at. I gotta get a manager
yeah,
and cut the middleman out to where I like, hey, no, you need to be doing that because I like to help. So I was like, I can get
yeah.
carried away.
But and here's the thing though, when you do decide to do that, it is nothing wrong with you and the artist splitting the money that's made from the music
Yeah,
because you help invest in it.
yeah,
And we're in a time now where y'all, he gone. Hopefully he come back. So I'm gonna say this while he's gone. We're living in a time now where a lot of artists don't have he back. A lot of artists don't have adequate budgets, bro.
yeah,
So, and here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that in itself. It just
hmm
becomes it just becomes problematic when one, they expect more than what they have the budget to cover, and
yes,
two, when they're unwilling to split the back end business. That's the only time it's
yeah,
problematic. Like
yes,
if
yeah.
you pay me $500 for a song and you got $10,000 worth of demands, and then when I say we need to split the back end, you say, "No, this is my record." See, that's when it's problematic.
That's what the problem is. And again, I think, in my opinion, this goes back into understanding the role of the producer and the role of the record making process. And some artists don't understand it. There's just everything now is so quick and available to you. Everything is just here. You get the album, this is that. You can get a track off something and just hit record on the vocal mic, and you can so they just think that things are just quick. But for somebody that really, really, really takes this process seriously and gets people involved, or if they do it all themselves, it don't matter. They just get the same results or whatever. But it needs to be respected, and definitely a conversation in business need to be had before you start.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am now. My wife mentioned something too about everything you were saying with the roles of a producer. She said, so that ties into co-production.
On which part?
When you were just talking about producing in the process and seeing it through, she made that statement,
Yeah.
and that's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant with my status as well, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
musicians are taking on a co-producer role,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually unspoken, expected of them, but then they don't get that credit.
Yes,
So
that's
it's like,
true.
if like seeing the process through in certain areas, like if I know I'm the primary producer
Mm-hmm.
and Tyheim, you working with me, and I say, hey, this is the vibe, um, this is the artist, it's gonna be these songs, these are the demos, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna be gone for a week. I'll see you next week. and you
Oh
get
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See that scenario. Yeah, that is
that's
co-production for sure.
that's the
Yeah.
scenario that status was about because
Yeah.
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then people will use what you said, and that's the crazy part. Everything that you
Hmm.
said about production is true. I get offended when people use overseer as an excuse
Hmm.
to bow
Okay.
out of the process and then come back in at the end and be like, I produced it. No, you didn't. You won't even hear. You won't even hear. What did you talk about? You didn't
That's
tell us
true.
what need to be done, how it need to be
Yeah.
done. You didn't tell us no keys. You didn't give us
Yeah.
no reference records. You didn't do
Yeah.
nothing. You been gone
I
and now you
agree.
back. And how you the producer? You been gone.
That is true.
How? Sway?
That is true. And I've been in situations like that to where it's like I I've done that. That is definitely true.
It's
That
like,
is so true.
and then and then the person who did do the work, you be like, oh no, he played the keyboard.
Yeah.
Boy, you know he did more than play the keyboard.
But bro, you hit on the head, bro, when you said that. And even when you broke it down like that the second time, I was like, you know what? I said, I loved how you broke it down and we was having a conversation about it. And you was like, but it's the ones that know the game that
And
do
they
it to
get
you.
because they know they know the young bucks are hungry and don't know the game.
Yeah. Don't know the business.
And that's ugly. That's
Yeah.
ugly. And it's problematic to me. I was thinking today, Tyheim, I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm a producer, this is what I was thinking today. If I'm a
Hmm.
producer who wants my legacy to outlive me, I'm putting young people on early.
Yeah.
I'm validating and exposing and giving opportunities early. But here's what I realized. I don't know if it's a I don't know. I know I've heard of situations outside of quartet and gospel, but what I've learned is there are some producers who are still fighting to stay in the game.
Mm.
So they got people with them to keep them from being competition.
Ah, that's
We
good.
we not competing if you work for me. And because of my status, I know how excited you're going to be. So I'm not even going to reveal how valuable you are.
That has happened to me, man.
I need you to stay hungry and naive
Yep.
so that I can elevate my career off of your capabilities.
Yep.
That's what I don't like, bro.
Yeah. And it's true. And it's so true. And it's like, it happens a lot. And it happened to me. It kind of half happened. Because the other half, I didn't play about. I'll tell you that in a minute. I ain't gonna say who. But the other half, I don't play about that, which is the business side of it. But on the production side or whatever musician side of it, um, again, when they know that you are young, you thirsty, and sometimes they know that you look up to them and that you respect them, um, they could take advantage of it and have you out here doing stuff. And hey, I need you to come here and do that, and you just be willing to do it. You just be because you want to grow and learn, and you feel like, okay, I gotta pay my dues. I gotta sacrifice this, that, whatever, the blah, 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 blah. You do all that you do. You play for free concerts, and you might do engineering stuff. You might come to studio. You might do this. You might do that, and it's like, but when I'm doing that, I'm cool. But then when the Lord finally reveal that stuff to you, and you decide to, you know what, I'm not going to accept that, or I'm not going to do that, then they have a problem with you. And then turn it like you did something to them. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. You just that's the status.
yeah,
That's the status.
yeah.
And it happens so much that people get jaded, man. So like my whole mission in all of the content, my conversation with you, the lives that I
Hmm.
do making music, is
Yeah,
to reverse the curse. because it's
Yes,
very common.
it is.
It's very, very common.
And it's
Eh,
very hurtful, man, especially for people who young and who are coming up and who you look to, because it's like now it's like who can I trust or who
who
can I
can I
look to?
trust? It's very
It's
Tahim.
hard, man.
It's a
Hard.
very traumatizing
Oh,
experience,
it
bro.
is. It is traumatizing. I've been through it. I've been through it. It's traumatizing, man. It affects you mentally. Am I good enough or whatever? And then you grow, or you try to grow, or you try to do things don't go your way. But then it's like it soars for them. I'd be like, wow. I'm like, Lord, they did that to me. And you say vengeance is mine. I don't think it's yours right now, Lord. Just being honest. I
Yo,
want us to
bro.
be more honest. Like that's how I feel.
Yes.
And it's like it gets you to the point where it's like now it's like who can I be? Because not only do I need a mentor, I think just like how they say pastors should always have pastors.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing for musicians, producers, or creatives, artists. We should always have that person who has more experience than us, has more skin in the game to hold us accountable, not only on our instrument, but
But
off
off.
the
Yes,
instrument.
sir. Yes, sir. And that's, I promise you, Tahim, that's my whole point is like the whole point of all of this that I've been doing is like I want to be to people what I didn't have.
Man, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
Cause a lot of people like even my wife asked me like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." Because I know how many guys are out here 14, 15, 16,
Hurt.
17.
Older than that,
Yes.
hurt,
Yes.
man. Traumatized, hurt off people who you dream to work with, and then you get the chance to work with them. Again, when they say never meet your heroes, I got that experience. I did. One of them, I did. And then it messed me up, man. Seriously. It took a long time for me. Doubt and even now, um, as I like for example, like musicians that are younger than me or whatever. I don't know. I'm 27, so I'm not in the unk phase yet, right? I'm
Yeah,
still
nah,
like
I don't think
I'm
yeah, I
I'm
think you
I'm
straight.
big bro, right? Okay. I want to make sure. I'm like, I know they got these little ages where you okay, you at this age you unk or whatever. So, but
Yeah, I think you big bro, yeah.
I don't treat them like I even though like they're younger than me, I never call them little bro, I never whatever. I always keep that level of um openness with them the way I never kind of like put them in a
Son, you don't son them.
yeah, where they're low, we talk to each other and I talk to them. We hold each other. Not only I'm holding them accountable, but we hold each other accountable. So if we talking personally or we talking about music or whatever, um, even with certain musicians, friends that I call brothers, like really brothers, like not just no talk. Like we do this in music, but we talk personally and we take care of each other personally, where we talk to each other and make sure that we are cool mentally. Um, that even in music, like I don't try to um embarrass them or do things. When we collaborate musically, I'm like, okay, we play or whatever, and I'm always making sure that I respect you musically. And I should want the same respect. But just because I play longer than you or whatever, it doesn't matter. I have ideas, you have ideas. I might have something that may not work sometimes, and you're gonna have something that's not going to work. But that's the point of producing or musicians. You gotta filter it out. And when you get self out the way and you have the mindset of the vision of seeing it through to what's best for the record, you're gonna filter that stuff out and get to the gems of whatever it is you're doing, arranging, producing, writing, or whatever, and get to what's best. Because what's destiny or what it is, what's supposed to be best for the record, you're gonna know it
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's gonna happen and it's gonna be goosebumps. It's gonna be like, oh man, ain't no denying it. It's that's it. That's the take,
Yes.
or that's whatever it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think it's easily misunderstood that because it's a crazy thing though. Even though we're getting paid to produce,
Hmm.
our responsibility is still to serve the artist.
Yeah.
That's and I think that's kind of I
That's
think
good. That's
it,
good.
you can easily confuse the fact that you're serving because you're getting paid.
Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
you're getting paid to serve.
You getting
You're
paid
getting
to
paid to
serve the
serve.
artist.
It's like what do you
That's
need?
good. That's good.
And it's good to have it's good to have a
Man, that's good.
relationship with the artist, bro, and
That's
know
good.
like what they need. I'm gonna tell you another thing. I'm gonna tell you another thing. Don't say yes to an artist because they got the money. Because you shouldn't produce everybody that can pay you. Because y'all may be incompatible spiritually,
Yes.
musically, mentally,
Yes.
and that
And
you'll be like, man, you'll be ready to get him a
you will
refund.
be surprised. I'm telling you. But again, you just hit it. Like we said earlier, that the relationship between the producer and the artist is very important. And you are serving, and you need to have those conversations.
Yes.
Like what, even when you get ready to sit with an artist or you're potentially getting ready to produce an artist, sit down. What are your goals? What do you want to do with this? Because sometimes I ain't gonna keep saying majority of the time. You're gonna might run into times where it's gonna be a waste of time because their mindset and where they want to go doesn't match with you. And again, you might not be compatible. So it might not every all money ain't good money. Every production ain't for you. Every songwriting session isn't for
Ain't for
you.
you.
Every gig for musicians are not for you. And sometimes as producers, and I just learned this. And matter of fact, I'm glad you said that as far as the serving part, because sometimes we can get carried away, even though you are the leader and the decision maker, it's still not your record.
It's not your record. The artist has to be satisfied, bro.
It has to be satisfied. So even though it's like sometimes you got to like at my job, I just dealt with this today. Like when you in IT, like you had to write a document on how to do this or how to do that, and you. But these are for people who don't know your system. So if I'm used to running my system, I know how to do it. So if I write it in my terms or in my way, and I give it to you, you're not going to know it because you don't know the system. But if I break it down to you in terms to we're not saying that you're slow or anything, but to break it down to where you can understand it. And by you being technical, you could be able to figure it out. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm saying it as a producer, you got to be able to have that, oh man, this is good. Knowing the room as a producer. Because sometimes the artist might be saying a lot of things, doing a lot, talking a lot, confused or whatever. You got to know how to filter that out to get to where you know it needs to go, but it's a way you have to do it. So, like for example, like I'm working with an artist and I'm mixing and whatever, and but I'm not mixing. I'm preparing the tracks to be sent, and I just sent him a rough, and he was like. Man, I need this, I need that. Make sure he turn this up, make sure turn that, make sure this, that, da. Now, my man, I'm like, okay, you got a lot going on, you got a lot going on. I didn't even send it to the guy yet. I'm just giving you a rough so you can hear what it is. But if I come out and say something, it's you know what I'm saying, bro. This is so good. Communication is one of the main responsibilities and role as a producer. Learn how to communicate with your artists, to musicians, whatever. So I was like, you know what? No, I said, no, listen, hear me out. I said, just not being mixed. I'm just giving you an overview of what it sounds. The mixer is gonna go with his approach and his ear. He's gonna mix. So there's no turning up and down. He's going to do it. Once he sends it back to us, then
That's
we
when
can
you can make your
adjust.
notes.
Make your notes. What I'm sending you is just so you could just hear what everything sounds as a whole. And when I send it to him, he's going to mix off his expertise, and then we give him the notes that we need. He's like, "Oh, okay, I got you." But if I would have came in, producer, I'm the this is that, and I started talking a certain way or going about it a certain way, when all I had to do was just explain
Because he
the
literally just
process.
didn't know.
He
The
didn't know.
artist just didn't know.
Did not know. He just didn't know. So he thinking what I sent him was the
Was the
mix. He's like,
first
no,
mix.
turn this down, run this up. I was like, no, 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 no. This ain't that. Just I said, slow down, we good, we got you. And I have to explain it to him like this
Yeah.
is what it is. Not saying that he's been in the industry a long time, but everybody not gonna know everything when it comes down to it. And that's okay.
That's
But
right.
communication and how you as a leader guide and communicate to whoever you're producing makes the difference. It makes the room. It your presence and the tone you set sets it for the rest of the record. That all that other technical stuff people won't. It will be wonders to your record. I
Yes, that's
promise
right.
you.
That's right. Boy, you own it, bro. You own it. And I could tell number one, you're a student, that's obvious. But your heart is pure too. And I think that's important because even when I describe the type of producer I was talking about in my
Mhm.
status, the more I have conversations with different people, the more I realize that hurt people professionally too.
Yes.
So some people are misusing, mistreating, and mishandling people they are hiring because that's what was done to them, and now
Yep.
they have the opportunity to come up off somebody else because they sick of being the one that was picked on. So now they doing the picking.
Yep. Yep. And it happened to me, so you would be all right. But you can't do that.
You can't do
Everybody,
that.
and I
I
just had
had to
a
pay my
meeting with
dues. You
someone.
need to pay yours.
Yeah, everybody receives things differently. So the it goes with even the best example is that with musicians, as far as the musicians of old like the OGs or the older cats back in those days, 90s, early 2000s, where it was a lot of pressure. It was get off, you trash, you this, you that. Some of them probably even said a couple of cussing words, probably. Get off the instrument, you trash, you bogus, you terrible. You know, just trauma, like verbally abusing people. And then they grow up and be successful with that. And then when it's their time to pay it forward, they take that same method. Well, it happened to me, but everybody receives differently. Another person might be able to take that, but the other person can't. And you got to be smart and spiritual and have discernment to realize where people are and ask God to, like, how should I talk to this person, do this person? Because some people might have the giraffe mentality, or some people might be at the turtle. And some things might take longer for others. One dude might get it like that, the other one might not. It take a little longer, but that don't mean that you stop.
Yeah. Hey, Tahi, my wife said we
Mm.
need to throw dudes in the trash.
It's true.
It's true.
It has happened to me. And the other side of it, when I was saying the the other side was the production, the musician, the arranger type
Yes,
of thing
know it,
where
know it.
that.
Yeah.
But the other side that I didn't that didn't happen to me was because again the business side of it was like I was saying before, like I joined BMI when I was 12.
Okay.
So like just learning, like I had good people in my life, like my old pastor, and he was giving me the game, like, this is what BMI is, this is royalties, this is how you do this is how you do that. And then I just took that foundation and went into my own studies. 12, 13 years old, 11. Like, okay, what's BMI? What's sorority? What's mechanical? What's streaming? All these types of streaming and how you can make money, publishing, writing. What's the difference between the two? Because it's sound master rights you have publishing rights you have, all of that stuff, copyrights and metadata, and making sure you give the right info. All of that stuff is very, very important. And in Quartet, we need to have um more than just doing a good drive, Holy Ghost power. We need to be having business classes on this stuff. And so it's like when it came down to, I've heard so much stories about writers and this particular person or whatever. And but when I worked with them, I that didn't happen because I had my business in
So
order.
are you saying there's a you work with the artist that had the reputation of stealing people publishing?
Not stealing people publishing, but it's like how you were saying of the reputation of you just you're young and you just not used to doing whatever,
Yes.
and you could just get taken advantage of, and it
Uh
could
huh.
happen. Not saying that it was that known for that, but like it could just be
You
like,
were
oh,
just
you
like,
don't know, and you not set
yeah.
up, you're not right. Like, hey, you need to do this. You need to make sure this is right. But I already had that side
And I
at
think
that
it's
time. Yeah,
and I think it's our responsibility too, because I think it's our responsibility when we're working with people to tell them, to educate them if they're uneducated.
yeah,
Versus being like, oh, you don't have publishing?
yeah.
I'll register the song under my publishing.
Stuff like that. You feel me? Like that stuff.
Versus saying, hey,
Absolutely.
before we release this song, I need you to go on this site and do this and this
Yes.
and this and this.
Yes, and I just did it, and that's one of the things that I like to do. And I have like on the side, not officially, but I just do it. Sometimes I charge, sometimes I don't. But I do like consulting, like friends of mine in Chicago, like who do put out music. Like I help them distribute. Like, hey, this is how you. Sometimes I do it for them. Like I prepare their tracks for distribution. I make sure they have the ISRC codes and whatever. Hey, do you have me in mind? This is how you register your song. Make sure the more don't limit your information. The more information you put in there is better for you because it makes it easier for them to track. Don't just register the song and don't put the performer. Put the artist in there so they can know who's the artist. Put the time. I don't care what it is. How long was the song? No, it's 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Put the name of the album. Like, give them as much information needed as possible. If you have the ISRC code, it's even better. It's better for tracking purposes. So I love to help people when it come out of that. I love the business of music. I really do. I love the business of music and helping people. I just helped somebody who was with BMI for years and never had an account and called BMI. I'm like, hey, I'm like, he was like, man, I wrote for this, that, and I don't even know like what's going on. Woo, 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 woo. And I had pulled up his name, went on the website, looked at his catalog, and pulled it up and showed him. He was like, man, how you get that? I was like, bro, it's on the internet, it's available to you. And he was like, man, so he was like, man, come on, man, help me finish. So I called BMI. I was like, hey, I got somebody who needs to he has an account, but he just, he's with you, but he doesn't have an account. Put him on the phone. They asked him all these questions. We got his account set up. I had him log in, showed him out with that, and then the whole time he had royalties. He had statements and didn't even know about it. I'm showing him like, hey, this is your statements. He's like, this is what you do. He was like, man, I didn't know this stuff still being played. I was like, now you know. I love doing
Yeah.
stuff like that, man. I love it. I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, bro.
it just
Yeah,
it just
bro.
brings joy to my heart because people just don't know.
They don't know.
And even like with the Motown stuff, like years where these great musicians, James Jamerson and all these people, they never got their credit and they refused to put them on the albums because they wanted to keep safeguard. They didn't want them to go to any other label or any other artist and play. They only wanted them to, what I'm saying. So when you see people that's trying to do something, I'm always willing to help because I've seen too much of our black artists from years past get taken advantage of where their publishing is gone. They made all this money and they end up dying or not. Some of them died or some of them are still here and they don't have nothing to show for it because people take advantage and people don't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't play when it comes out of that music business, man. I
Yeah,
take
that's
that
real, bro.
serious.
Bro,
I
we
take
gotta
that
do.
serious.
We definitely gotta. I want to do another. We gotta do another episode
Yeah, man.
because even with what we were talking about in the comments about a lot of uh, it's definitely in gospel unless it's like high up, but
Hmm.
most gospel producers don't know if they sit down with an artist and an
Yeah.
artist starts singing a song that don't got no music, as soon as
Hmm.
they start putting music to that artist, those
Yeah.
that melody, they are a part of the songwriting process.
Yeah.
There's so many producers and musicians that should have songwriting
Yeah.
credit and don't know they should.
I'm a
Cause they
perfect.
think it's just she sung
We,
it. This what I heard. I just played it. And they think that's just
yeah.
making the music. No, that's writing the song.
We have to talk about that too because I think it gets. I think again to get a understanding. Not saying that we're making it up, but people always say don't make it up, look it up. And when we do that, break down the definition. We always say we need to understand these roles, what they are, the definition of a songwriter, because people always say it's the lyrics and what melody. And so then people will say, "Oh, what that now? Well, that wasn't the melody or whatever or whatnot." So it gets real. It gets real challenging. But like you said with the part with the musicians, where your part that you played and contributed, musicians too, so much so to a song to where that it goes to court and says, "Hey, can you actually have this song without that part?" And if it's not, the musicians get part songwriting royalties on it. It has happened. They ain't wrote a word, they ain't wrote whatever, but just that boom, boom, boom. Like for example, if you do rappers delight, like boom, boom,
The
boom,
bass
boom,
line.
boom, 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 boom. He ain't wrote no lyric. He didn't wrote them chords. But you can take that to court possibly and say, hey, if you take that out, like can you have that song at that point? And some musicians have done it. I'll give you another perfect example. I really hate this example because he actually did get it, but he took it away. Michael Jackson off the wall album, which as you learn and grow, producers who like him, as you learn and grow in production, you will know that Off the Wall is the best album. I love Thriller, but off the wall ain't no joke. But don't stop till you get enough. I think it's the B section that ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum.
Greg, he talks about
Greg
it.
Fuller Gaines wrote that section, and they originally agreed 10%. Michael's like, okay, he was all excited. And y'all can look this up. Like this ain't no lie. Like it's videos of him himself explaining
Saying it
this. Multiple videos of him talking about this. And he wrote this section. And you can think about it, right? How can you hear Don't Stop without that? You need to
without
hear
that part.
ba ba bam, ba ba bam. Like you can't take it away. So stuff like that is like it's undeniable that it's tied to it. Even though you didn't write the lyrics or whatever or the musical thought, but you can't have it without it. And they originally agreed 10%. And then they even did the pressing, like had his name on the vinyl and everything. Like sent him the contracts to sign 10%. He was all excited. And then Michael and his people called like, he was like, that's more. Michael thinks it's more of an arrangement. But look
Not
at
if,
the
not
yeah.
if he made it up. Because an arrangement is this is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna use my creativity to make an embellishment
All you're doing is
or a different.
organizing. Arranging nothing
Yes,
but organizing, making sure the sounds, the instruments, everything is where it needs to be.
but if you create and I remember
Yes.
watching the video because he told Greg like make a part that I can dance to,
Yeah.
and then
And
it's
he did.
like
Yeah. And Quincy was like, yeah, he should have got it. He should have got it. But as much as I love Quincy, Quincy did it to Greg. Secret Garden, he did it to him too. As much as I love Quincy Jones, but Quincy was wrong. I gotta hold him. God rest his soul. Quincy did it to Greg. But think about it though. But think about it how you you can't get in your feelings and that type of stuff. Because what if Greg got in his feelings and just left? Look at the
yeah,
years down. Off the Wall was 79. So think about if he just would have just like, you know what? And sometimes people always think that that got to be the solution to everything. And sometimes it is, but sometimes you just never know. What if he just said, I'm done. I'm hurt, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He stuck it out.
yeah,
And look at what he was able to accomplish. S- Some of the best records 79, 80, then Thriller, then Bad, then you did We Are the World. All of that just in that span. And he just would have just like, no, I don't want to do it no more. What would have never have happened for him.
yeah. Gene, people said it's a thin line for sure. It is a
Mhm.
thin line, and I think the only problem
It
I
definitely is a
had
damn line.
my
It
my
is.
my, my only problem is like I said before when when knowledgeable people
Mm-hmm.
work with young people who don't know
Yeah,
and use that to take credit they don't deserve.
yeah,
That's problematic to me. That
yeah,
happens too much.
yeah. It does.
It happens more than it
Yes,
should happen, man.
that is true. And you're absolutely right. Have somebody go through the process, go through all of that. Like I've seen the process to watching them, but there's nothing like experiencing it for yourself. I done been where I have wrote a song, sat down and wrote it, did the demo, and came up. I kind of pretty much did the arrangement of transitions and lines, what the sounds are doing, kind of sound selections, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But going into when I gave it to the producer and how he elevated it, and then he ended up adding his own certain things, which can cause him to be also having some type of arrangement credit as well,
Yeah.
because he took it to certain things and certain lines, rhythm arrangements or whatever. People, those are old credits that people say arrangements now, but back then they actually had that stuff separated. You had horn arrangements, you had string arrangements,
And
and you
that's
had
that's
rhythm
what that's
arrangement.
and look, that's what
Yeah.
Gene just said. Gene said the same thing you said, Taheem.
Hmm.
Gene said titles have been confused over the years. It's
Yes.
important
Yes,
to know
Gene.
the role
Know the
of a
roles.
title. And
Yes.
here's another thing, Gene. I think I think also what makes it confusing is because the title role relationship is different in different genres. Like
Yeah,
I'll give you an example. Like
that is
out
true.
of all the overseeing and hiring musicians and all of the criteria you gave to be a producer in hip hop, the guy who made the beat is the producer because the rapper just rap and that's the song.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And that in itself, you just open up a whole nother thing too.
Yeah, because that
Yeah.
people will say Swiss Beats Swiss Beats produced this. He made the beat.
I hate it. I hate it. I
He
hate
gave
it.
it. He gave it to, and then the rapper rapped. So like in hip hop, the beat maker is considered the
Yes.
producer,
Yes.
and then there are some people who say, which is true too. It just depends. No,
Yeah.
a beat maker is a beat maker, but it's like in the context of like even
Yeah, man. It can get really, yeah. Because
like
I'm gonna go.
like
I'm a me for me. I'm gonna go straight to the book because I don't want you
yeah
to. To me, when you do that, you kind of diminish your art when you do that. Like
yeah
producing is way more than just making a beat. Like
yes it
it's a
is
lot of things. So when you just say, "Oh, I made a beat," nah, don't limit yourself to that. It's a
yeah
lot of broad things
yeah
that will get you to, like your wife said, leadership.
uh
That
huh
word is
mm-hmm
not just limited to that. It's more
mm-hmm.
things to do with that
Yep.
title. Don't
But
just
look,
limit it to that.
but check this out. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the 80s. Like
Hmm.
the role of a producer came
Yeah,
from the role of a DJ. But all the DJ did was loop the break beat.
yeah,
And then the artist rapped on it. So it's like the DJ became the producer.
yeah.
The rapper is the artist.
And then the
That's
sample became writers of the new work.
yep.
You
And
know,
then
yeah,
the engineer, and then boom, that's the song.
yeah. But when you just authentic, man, and you just do the whole again, having everybody. You have string arrangers, you have horn arrangers, you have engineers, assistant engineers, arrangers, musicians, background vocalists, A&R, whatever, even project coordinators or other people on the team that's not even musical, but just on your production team that helps you coordinate. You know what I'm saying? In your team, like how you were saying before, that plays a role in the record making process and how you guide all of that as a producer. You say, hey, this is where we need to be going here. So, like for example, I can't keep using this as him as an example, but a lot of people love Michael Jackson fans. A lot of people love to discredit Quincy a lot with his productions. and his role as a producer, because again, they always say, well, Michael wrote all of that. All that. I said, this is the problem. You don't understand roles.
Yeah,
Quincy
because a
wasn't
writer
there to
and a
write.
producer,
Are
yeah,
two different things. I hate when they say, man, he wrote bad. He did that. I said, yeah, he did. He get credit. And when he was alive, he got checks, and his family get the checks now, or his door,
yeah,
whoever gets it. And so I'm just
yeah.
like, again, can a producer write? Yes, but is it his job to write? No.
No,
But can he? Yes, he can.
yes,
But that's not his role.
yeah. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. I'm gonna tell you another thing that I'm getting into. Hey, Gene said the same thing you said. He said, that's where it started. Saying hip
Yes,
hop, creating a beat is not producing. I have
correct.
produced records that I didn't play anything on. A
Yes,
producer is really a project
yes.
manager. That's
It's a
exactly
project
what you
manager,
said.
man. And vision, and just vision casting. Just first of all, not only musician, whatever, but people forget sequencing, setting the order of your record is important. And it can make and break your record. I don't know,
It
I have so many
can.
quartet records. The sequence was like just hearing the first song and then go to the second one. I was like, oh nah, no, this not it. This not it. This not it. This not it. Sequencing, man. And knowing the vibe, man, spiritually know like, okay, this needs to be here, this needs to be there. Because you got to take it from here and here to there. And how you start and how you finish the record, it matters. Vision casting. Just even on a bad album, and that's y'all can look it up. Um Saida Garrett, who wrote Man in the Mirror with Glenn Ballard, said that Quincy was just like, we need a feel good anthem that can just shed some light on the world. Man in the Mirror didn't even exist.
He
He
just
just
knew that's
cast
what
the
the
vision.
album needed. That's
He
what it
knew it, and
needs.
he just cast the vision as the producer and said he already had Bad, he had Smooth Criminal, he had all these songs on the record. He was like, we need something that's like some anthem, whatever. She took that and came up with Man in the Mirror.
Yeah, that's
Even though he
crazy.
didn't write it, but he's indirectly the reason why that
Yes,
song exists. Because if
that's
he
right.
wasn't there to cast the vision, that song probably would have never existed. Not taken away from the writers because you need them because they wrote the song, but just him casting the vision. That in itself alone can be studied as a
Yes,
producer.
yes, and that's that. I think that's what makes something as simple as fade in and fade out can ruin
Yes.
yeah, and to your point, Taheem, I think everything that you've been saying is what makes a producer valuable, and the lack of everything that you've been saying from producers who are calling themselves producers is where the tension is.
That's good. That
That's
is
where
good.
that's where the tension where the tension
Because everybody
lies.
doing it. Everybody's just throwing at the wall and see if it's gonna stick. And it's like,
Which is why I said which is why I said in my status, it's probably more honest to just have a production team.
mm-hmm,
Because if everybody has different roles at different times sporadically
mm-hmm.
without anything being communicated, that it, when it's time to do the business, it
Yeah.
probably make more sense if it's four people and we like, all right, y'all, no matter who do what on what song, the production team takes the credit for the whole body of work and we split everything four ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's more honest
Yeah.
in the scenario of how the processes be working. Like
Yeah.
if somebody were to put a camera in the studio and in the meetings, it would probably be more honest for you to have a production team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes the
But it's but
drummer,
it's but it but it's a hierarchy.
yes,
But doesn't mean but you're gonna get your but there's a like you said, supervising or whatever the
that's
title you
why I
can
was
create
like,
for yourself.
that's why I'm like, do we
Yeah.
need to just kind of like, we need to do something because
Mm-hmm.
some of this is dishonest and some of it is dishonest to my point from people just trying to get over. And some
Mm-hmm.
of it, some of it comes from not knowing the definitions of the terms and
Mm-hmm.
assuming. So some people may think that they should be a producer because they were the MD, and they think that's
Huh?
like
Dude,
I sat
you
at an
you
88 key
you
keyboard. I
hit the
got to
point.
talk back. I produced.
That right. What you just said was why I came in the comments. I'm like, I said first thing I said was, I said I agree with you. I said, but this right here is gonna get out of hand because people gonna be like, I was an MD or I would I suppose you took it right, man. That's man.
No, you were the
Again,
music director.
you're limiting
Yes,
yourself
yes,
to
yes,
it. It's so much to the role if you really do study
yes.
and deep study on the role. Like even quartet, like even our artists that I've worked with in quartet, as far as process. I give you an example. I don't want to hold you long,
No,
but
you good. I'm chilling.
um, working with this artist, the Hoskins family out of Chicago,
Okay,
quartet group, and uh, Keyshawn is the lead singer, but he's the main producer for the group. So it's a family group. So it's this him, his sisters, and his mother, and his father plays bass. So it's so so I came out, I'm like, so we're close friends, like we're brothers. So it's like we feed off each other, and we're as far as like we respect each other musically. So I don't down him, he don't down me. We filter out our ideas to get to the essence of it. I'm a pocket guy. If it don't feel good, I have a problem. I'm gonna have a huge problem. I don't care about all that extra stuff. If it don't feel good and you're not playing your part patterns, makes the money. Not from a game way, like you trying to make money, but it's the hit that's gonna save your life. Play pocket. That's all I want. That's all that matters. So he's producing this record. So I was like, you know what? Let me co-produce it with you. Again, it's a hierarchy. This is your group. This is your sound. This is what you want. I'm coming in to assist, to help you, to give you extra things to do or whatever. So me as the co-producer, I'm just whatever you need, but that doesn't limit or diminish my role. I'm still producing, but it's just a hierarchy on what's going on. Because whatever I do, he has to have the say on if it is or is not. But that doesn't change that I'm not doing the role of a producer, but it's just the hierarchy part. So we're working this out, and the drums just wasn't going right this particular day, and we just whatever. And I just like, you know what, we're not preparing, and I was like, we need to rehearse. I said, you know what, let's go to my church, and there's one going right. It's just placements and just me as a producer, I'm listening to how it sounds. And for me, like the way I hear it, I can literally hear the final. Like, I don't know how. I can literally hear final when I'm listening to it. I'm like, it's supposed to be like this. I don't know. I don't know how, but I can hear it. Like, nah, that someone should have went there or that time should have been. So it wasn't a good day. I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to my church. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna arrange. I'm not taking credit on this, whatever, but I know in quartet this doesn't happen a lot. We're going to sit down and we're going to arrange these drums for the record. Let's sit down. Let's listen to this. Let's play it out. What needs to be there? What doesn't need to be there?
Yeah.
Does this crash go here? Time movement. So we just playing it out. I'm at my church. We're playing the record. We're not recording. We're not doing anything. We're just arranging
The
the
drum
drums
parts.
and how it needs to fit for the record because the record is doing us has a certain vibe and the drums are a very important part and it needs to be right. So we sat down maybe like an hour or two and we just sat there and he played it out. I'm like, no, 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 no. For that, don't hit the crash there. Leave it straight. Play it straight. You don't need to do nothing. Just leave it open. Leave space. Then on here, you can do it here, blah, 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 blah. So we got it together. We worked it out. All three, the drummer, myself, and then Keyshawn, the producer. And we all did it together. It wasn't it was what I want, what I want. Collaboration is what I've been saying. Respect, love for one another, for each other, all of us as brothers, because we all close. And the respect that we all want the best performance, the best for the record. And we was able to get it done. And then that turned into another session because then we started getting ideas. The drummer was like, you know what, we should put some hand claps and foot stomp. I said, you're right. So my baptism pool, and we have like a baptism pool in my church, and we took it. It's wood, but it's kind of uneven, so I know the spot to get a good sound. So I said, right, cool. I grab mics, we clapping and we doing foot stomps to make it, authentic. And I told him, I was like, you have the shaker and the snap for the song. It's cool, but when you get to this drive, the loop needs to change because it's going to another level. So the shaker and the snaps is cool because the verse, everything is kind of smooth. But when that drive come in, the percussion or the loop or whatever you want to say, however you want to call the term, that needs to shift because it needs to go to another level now. You in your vamp now, you in your section. Introducing, adding new things throughout the record, which I've learned that from Michael and Quincy with their records, like always adding stuff, adding new things to get the ear, like, oh man, what's that? Knowing when to take things out. Not everything needs to be playing through the whole
The
thing.
whole thing. I tell the story all the time about one of my homies. I was letting him hear a song one time, and it was a quartet record, man. And he
Hmm.
got me good. He was like, man, he was like, y'all still using click tracks. I said, dang man, you just crushed my little soul. He was like, hey man. And every since then, I don't never just make a loop and loop it. Cause he got
No,
me. Never again did I do that. I'm like, oh no,
no,
I'm
bro.
away from that.
Never, never. It makes the difference. It does. But you gotta think of it. I think of it of old, like actual percussion players.
Percussion, and that's what he was explaining to me. Like,
Yeah.
you got to think about it like a percussion player.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, that makes
Horn
sense.
horn players, we love to have the keyboard horns,
Keyboard
but
horn, but it's
keyboard
like,
players don't approach it like horn players.
no, they
You
just play the
do if
keyboard.
you play horns in quartet and you play like a keyboard player, it's gonna be a problem. You don't need to be everywhere. Like, stay out of my frequency. My frequency for keyboards, I'm in the mid range. So the guitars have their frequency where they need to be, bass has theirs, whatever. Stay out my. If you're sitting there holding and playing the same thing I'm playing, holding, that's a problem. And I keep telling people, I'm learning more and more, even just music, period. People just love to just be in the way. And sometimes the best thing to do is nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing, man.
Nothing.
Yeah, one of my homies that I grew up with, his dad taught us that a long time ago. Like when we were younger, we all played at a church together.
Hmm.
And one of my friends ended up, so we have a good all of us are very close. So we
Yeah.
started playing, and we weren't all playing at the same time. We all kind of got in piece by piece. And
Yeah.
one guy in particular, he was learning how to play keys, and his dad came to us and was like, listen, I love what y'all got going on over here.
Hmm.
And he asked my homie's dad, like, can y'all please like just teach him and take care of him and make him a part of the band, because I don't want him to end up in the streets.
Yeah.
And then so we were like, okay, so what he gonna do? I was like, he got to like play auxiliaries or whatever, but he didn't know how to play.
Hmm.
So he
Yeah.
started out like just literally playing percussion, like on the XB60, like the little
Yeah.
shakers and the claps and stuff.
Yeah. Everybody
And
starts
then
somewhere.
and then over time, he started playing like real auxiliaries, like strings and horns and stuff. And the first thing my homie dad told us was like, listen to these Earth, Wind, and Fire records. That was his advice. He was like, if you gonna play horns, I need to hear horns.
Yes. Your
And he
approach.
likes,
Yes.
yes,
You have to understand it. It's not
a
just
horn
playing the
patch.
instrument. It's just for a patch. You have to understand the approach behind horns. You have to get in the mind of horn arrangements, horn arranging. You have to be in the mindset of you don't have to be everywhere. You just one time it could just be a line, and you might sit there maybe a minute and don't do nothing and come back in. But that's okay. But everybody, some musicians love the attention and want to play for the crowd and want to be all loud. Musicians don't want to use dynamics. Musicians don't want to listen to each other. Musicians is playing over each other. Everybody placement is wrong. Everybody's all over the place. It's just there's no. It's, I mean, I hate it. I hate that with a passion, bro. I hate it. I
And
hate it.
some people, and these conversations are good because some people don't know no better. And you and I
And that
were
was a
just,
talk.
yes, you and I were just fortunate enough to be
Yeah,
around people who taught us. And I don't take that for
man.
granted. Like I
So
think about it
don't.
all the time. Like
I do.
11, 12, 13 years old in rehearsals with people saying
Yes.
like my homie's dad, he's like, "Hey man." And we would like sit in a I'm gonna send you a picture.
Yeah.
Like when we first started playing, we would sit in like a semicircle, like with the
Hmm.
drums and then the bass and the
Yeah.
guitar, the keyboards. And my homie's dad would just stand in the middle of the circle.
Mm.
And he would just like play this part. Don't
Yeah.
move. Only play that. Play this lick.
Yeah.
Do this. Do
Yeah.
this. Do this. And he was like, he taught us patterns really early. And like we
Yes.
would just play. Like if we would just play, he like, just let me hear the verse. And we just loop the
Whew.
verse. Let me hear the verse. Okay, let me hear you by yourself. Let me hear them chords you playing.
Yeah.
Don't play that guitar right there because he playing that line. And it's like,
Yes.
dang.
But that's all of that right there at that young age is arrangements,
Yes.
producing, and just musicianship and discipline. And it's just
Yes.
like to have the dis. People think that with Pocket, they love to say it's just playing straight. All ain't nothing but
Yeah.
just playing. Pocket is an art
It's an art.
that
It's
needs
a
to be
skill.
respected. It's a skill, and
Yes.
it's not easy,
It's
and it
not.
needs to be respected, and it's not easy to do. To sit there, to have, I always say that type of stuff, man. I'm not gonna. You might disagree with me, but I be coming up with a lot of stuff. It says a lot about a person.
Yep.
For you to be able to sit there and play that religiously and don't do nothing versus somebody just gotta do something. To me, that shows who you character wise. For me,
Yes.
how
Yes.
you are. Because even like I go deep into pocket and study as far as your body. I I, I tell people all the time, man, I'm telling you, it's weird as like it goes this deep for me on how your body receives it, how you're sitting, and how do you receive pocket, how do you receive groove? Because it has to come within and come out through your
Yes,
fingers.
sir, bruh.
So how your body receives pocket dictates how it comes out.
And listen, like we were taught like play it until you feel it. And when you feel it, that lady right there will feel it. And he
Yes.
like my homie's dad would tell us is like her response is to what you're playing.
Yes.
You're going to alter her experience if you start playing something else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ah. And one of my homies, I'll never go forget this. Like he used to like when we were younger, he was
Yeah.
from like a different city, yeah, and you know how that is. He
Hmm.
like, man, I can't stand quartet, man. It's simple, man. All the songs sound the same, right? That's what he used to say. That's what he used to say. That's what he used to say. But then Ty, he came to one of our concerts, and
Arena.
after the concert, he was like, "Yo, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, and I don't know how y'all are that disciplined." He said, "I couldn't do it if I tried. I'd be itching, ready to play something else." He was real with me, dog. He was like,
I
"Man,
appreciate the honesty.
He was like, man, I'd be itching." I'm like, but we were at 12 years old. He
Telling
like
you.
literally, he like Rev would take us to the vamp, Ty, and
Yeah.
just be like, play it, and he'd
Yeah.
just sit there until
Hmm.
we're content not moving. He just
I'm,
sit there.
and sometimes, and again, like you said, play it till you feel it. Sometimes in the moment when you're playing it, you just playing it. But at some point, it's going to like, oh. I'm telling you, That's weird, bro. I receive Pocket in a crazy way to where I can like I can't take it. When it's good, it's good. But people in quartet, people who are outside quartet, and that's one of my pet peeves is that they talk down on the genre, don't understand the genre, don't respect the genre, and then go out to other platforms. And just because you think, just because you play on the one, you think you're driving. No, you're not.
And they don't have the vibe.
Don't have
They
that.
don't.
Just because you cut Jesus and go to G does not mean that you're a driver. Respect the art. If you're gonna do it the right way. Because quartet gonna be quartet. They're not gonna. Sometimes we might, if the spirit is good or whatever, and they might usher in certain songs, worship songs into whatever their set is. But they're gonna be them. They're not gonna go out and try to bring church or whatever other subgenre of gospel into their whatever. They're gonna be authentic and be them.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy how people really disrespect the genre of quartet and don't understand it and then downplay it. And it's not quartet is not easy to play. It's not. It's discipline and placement. Like it's not. I really wish people really take the time. Not all people really take the time to really, if you're gonna do it, respect it, do your homework,
Yep. And then
and
on the
yeah.
on the flip side, what's crazy is then you have people like Jubu and his brother who
No
come
man,
from it and what they bring. Like that
wait man.
foundation in other places. Ty, you can
Woo!
always tell the difference.
Yeah,
You can always tell. You can
I'm
always
telling you,
tell.
it's the mindset, brother.
You can
Bro, it's the
always
mindset.
tell. It's like, ooh,
Telling
nah, he
you.
got that. He got it.
Because when you take that discipline, bro, and then when you apply it to other genres, I'm telling you, it elevates it, man. Approach or styles, and how quartet, especially the guitarists, like you said, when
Got
they go into those R&B sets or and they take that same approach. I love two guitars and quartet, man. The back and forth, and I love rhythm, the potty rhythm. Like, I love all of that stuff, and they take
yeah.
that. You can tell. Oh yeah, that's yes.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, bro. 100% agree with you.
Yes, and I watched this thing. I watched this interview of Jubu and he was explaining. He was like, the only thing he was like, the secret sauce to me is I brought quartet to Tony. That's the if you really break it down, like, cause it was like
He's
people felt
right.
like, yo, this guitar playing is so innovative. He was like, it's just quartet.
That anniversary, that minor, you good. That's quartet. That's like Pilgrim Jubilees. Oh Lord, it's all man, please. I'm telling you,
Yes,
man.
dog.
But it's fun, man. But it's all about understanding what needs to be done. Get self out the way. I know I can do all of this. I know I can, but what's needed?
Yeah.
And once
What's
we
needed?
get there more, some of us have it, but I think we need to get there more on what's needed,
Yes.
what's for it. And sometimes you have to bring it back. Less is more. It doesn't have to be all crazy. Um, I think sometimes quartet is getting a little. It's just my personal opinion with my ear. This is just me. Sometimes quartet is getting a little busy. It's getting a little busy right now. I'm just like, yeah, I'm cool with adding new things but still let's let's have respect with the genre. And not saying you can't be innovative and add new things. That's not what I'm saying. You can do that. It was already done. Ken's did it. But all that adding sounds, the Yamahas and what Vic Allen all them brung and Wallace with those chords and one of those. That's just one example as far as like innovation and what the sound that they brung to quartet in the '90s, the Ken Spirituals. That's just one example, and how that band elevated the sound of quartet. And it still was not crazy, but it was innovative. And it's going to be remembered. It's timeless.
Yes, and I say that all the time, Ty. Like I've been preaching that. It's like busy, dense music with
Hmm.
no distinctive parts, with cliche lyrics on top, and we.
I'll
I'm
I
like,
always say
God,
this. If it's busy, that means the song ain't good.
this song,
The song is not good. If it got to be that busy, the song is not it. The song
this
is
song
not
ain't
good.
good, bro.
It's overproduced. Yeah.
If you can't sing the song with a guitar or a piano and it
Woo.
move you the same way, it's not a
Woo.
good song. If it needs the production, it's not a good song. If it's
Telling
gotta
you,
have all that, it's not a good song.
it's not a good song. I'm telling you.
It's not, bro.
I'm telling
Bro,
you.
we got to do this often, dog.
Yeah, man. I really do appreciate you, man. Like what you do and the advice and the gems and the tools that you offer that you give to not just musicians but also quartet. But just I'm not to limit you with that, but I know you take pride and effort to make sure that you hit that audience, and I appreciate that you do that. But this just not just goes for quartet; it goes for everything,
It
and
goes for everything.
it goes outside, and you just don't touch. You touch songwriting, you touch songwriting approaches, you touch producing, you touch musicianship, you touch not only that business branding, um, content. You do it all, bro. And I just if I really do. Like I love what you do. I
Thank you,
follow you
brother.
all the time, man. I really do.
Appreciate
You
that,
you
man.
you do good stuff, brother.
Thank you,
And
brother.
it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
All right, we out, y'all. Peace.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, stay on.
Yes, sir.